I came to Hankou railway station to pick up my sister. It's a bit strange. Look here, why is there no vibe of the Spring Festival travel rush? It's even less crowded than when my son went to school, and I picked him up here. It's quite empty. I can't believe it. The Spring Festival travel rush has begun at Nanchang railway station. But why is there no one here? So deserted. How did this second-tier city become like this? Why is it so deserted on the second day of the Spring Festival travel rush in Nanchang? It's worse than the normal time. What happened in Nanchang, a second-tier city? After all, it's a national clean city and is expected to be promoted to a first-tier city. I said that Beijing is really in a bad state now. No one here. Look at Sam's Club. It used to be packed with people during the Chinese New Year, but now, not many people. Have you noticed that there are no New Year's promotions or exhibitions at major shopping malls this year? The New Year is almost here, but there are no people selling couplets or lanterns on the streets. Everything seems deserted. Do you think it's strange? China's economy continues to decline, and ordinary people are becoming less and less confident about the future. Although the Chinese New Year is approaching, many netizens posted videos showing that many train stations are deserted. The New Year's good market is no longer as lively as in previous years and lacks the New Year flavor. This year may be the quietest Chinese New Year in history. Let's talk about the related topics today. But before we do, we would like to invite you to subscribe. Your support is our greatest motivation and allows us to bring you more valuable content. Now, moving on. This is a hypermarket in the center of Tangshan City, Hebei Province. There are 17 days to the most important and lively festival for Chinese people, the Spring Festival. Such a hypermarket located in a bustling area in the center of Tangshan becomes so deserted at a time that should be a busy time for shopping for New Year's goods. Who makes it? The market is depressed nowadays, and even Beijing's most popular Yansha shopping center is deserted. On the weekend of the last month of the lunar year, the third floor of Beijing Yansha would have been packed with people in previous years. It used to be such a popular shopping mall, but it's been a bit bleak in recent years. It used to be that you had to queue up to eat at the food court or on the third floor. But now look, the key point is that it's the weekend in the 12th lunar month. Not sure if everyone is reluctant to spend or has no money to spend. As the annual New Year's rush to return home arrives, official media continue to boast that the flow across the country has increased significantly year on year. However, according to videos posted by netizens, train stations in some areas are not busy. It's the Spring Festival travel season now, and there are not many people in the train station square. If it were more than 10 years ago, those who run restaurants, hotels, and massage parlors would have already gathered here and greeted me. A video shows that this year's Guangzhou railway station is deserted, which is in sharp contrast to the crowded scene 20 years ago. Back then, to buy one ticket, one had to queue up for several days at the train station. It was so hard to get a ticket, and the train station was fully packed with migrant workers. During the 2008 Spring Festival travel rush, 400,000 people were stranded at Guangzhou railway station. This is Guangzhou East Railway Station on the third day of this year's Spring Festival travel rush. Where have all the people gone? Some netizens said that there are multiple railway stations in Guangzhou now, and the traffic has been diverted to other high-speed railway stations, so there are few passengers at Guangzhou railway station. Some netizens retorted that most migrant peasant workers can't afford the high-speed rail and usually take the slow train. Others added that the high-speed trains from Beijing to Shanghai were not fully occupied. Let's see if the high-speed train is full of people. In the last video, I showed you that there was no one on the high-speed train. There is no one this time either. There is basically no one in the whole shot. The train is moving and just passed Xuchang. It's headed towards Guangzhou. There are cities with large passenger flows along the way, but there is still no one. High-speed rail is indeed too expensive, usually twice as much as airplanes, with the highest single-trip ticket costing $330 for a business class seat. Why is the tide of returning home gone this year? Are migrant workers not going home anymore? The blogger analyzed 3 reasons. The first real reason is that many migrant workers are already on their way home or are already at home, so there won't be a large number of migrant workers returning home together. Why? Because the industry is in recession. Some large factories have closed down. Where can the workers go? So before the Chinese New Year, many have already returned to their hometown. This is really a helpless move. The second is that migrant workers have not earned much money this year, and their pockets are emptier than their faces. Why would they go home? Any conscious man would be embarrassed to go home, and the round-trip fare is another huge expense. The third reason is that many migrant workers actually did not go out to work this year. Why? The main thing is you can't earn much money in other cities. After deducting your daily personal expenses here, you make almost no money, so you'd rather find a job locally. In many cities, the New Year markets in previous years were very lively, but now the markets are as deserted as the normal time. Netizens from many places posted videos lamenting the Bleak market and not feeling the New Year vibe at all. I have absolutely no idea about this year's business. Now that the Spring Festival is approaching, let me show you. I haven't gotten one deal done yet today, and look how it's outside. It's 12 o'clock now, and today is Saturday, January 4th, Saturday, and look how many people are here. There is a shopping mall opposite, and there must be no one in the mall today. I used to think that December was the peak season for our physical stores, not to mention the beauty industry with the 4-piece set for the Chinese New Year. I don't know how the business is going in your store. This is the current situation of Chengdu's real economy. Today is Sunday afternoon. This is a shopping mall in Chengdu high-tech zone, and no one there at all. Many shops are closed. We are on the 4th floor now, and the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floors are all closed. Everything here is closed. How should we manage this economy? Today is the weekend, and even in the area with the highest GDP in Chengdu high-tech zone, there is absolutely no one here. The entire 4th floor of the shopping mall is empty, not a single person. This economy has to continue. There is no one here. Some analysts pointed out that the reason behind it is China's economic recession, which may also be related to the sharp decline in population caused by the coronavirus. Have you noticed a phenomenon? Today is the 17th day of the 12th lunar month. In previous years, including last year, many people returned home. But now I haven't seen any. At this time of year in previous years, if you went shopping in the mall, you wouldn't be able to find a parking space because the underground garage was definitely full. Last night, around 7 o'clock, I went to the mall to buy a set of clothes for my little niece. I found that the parking spaces in the mall were empty and there were not many people. Then I went up. There were very few people in the mall. It was very sparse, which felt quite strange. There were few people, including the food court on the 3rd and 4th floors. Also, I went to get a manicure a few days ago and I thought I would have to queue up, as that shop is quite popular. But after I went in, I found that there was no customer there, only me. I was so surprised. When I went there at this time last year, I had to queue up for a long time, but this year there was almost no one. What is the meaning of the Chinese New Year? Not sure, since when the Chinese New Year is no longer a kind of longing, but seems to become a form. In the past, there was no shortage of New Year vibe, but there was a shortage of goods. Now there is no shortage of goods, but what is lacking is the New Year vibe. Year after year, it seems I can't find the feeling when I was a child. In the past, I could feel the festive cheer a month before the New Year, but now I don't feel anything even one day before the New Year. In the past, no matter how busy, every family member would gather together to watch TV. Now, everyone plays with their phones. Our lives seem to be getting better, but the feeling of the New Year is gone. If you don't maintain a decent life, you will be laughed at by your relatives when you go to your hometown this season. You would be better to stay outside if you can't feel the warmth in your hometown. Now, I no longer look forward to the New Year, nor do I want to join in on the fun. People often say, whether you have money or not, go home for the New Year. However, when some single older men and women go home for the New Year, they often have to face their parents' urging to get married and questions from relatives and friends, which makes them feel helpless and have no choice but to choose to escape. The Chinese New Year is becoming less and less interesting now. The festive atmosphere is particularly weak. You see, firecrackers are not allowed, and I wouldn't like to visit relatives. For I am single and I don't see any relatives. Because if you visit them, you will have to give red envelopes to other people's children, and they will say, "You are so old, why are you still not married?" They will definitely talk behind your back, and you are just embarrassing yourself.
今年过年我也不打算回家了。
I don't plan to go back to my hometown for the Chinese New Year this year. I plan to set up a stall here. Why? Because I am 30 years old and don't have an apartment or a car. I was laid off on October 24th and I don't even have a girlfriend. Now, I only rely on this sweet potato stall to make a living, so I plan to stall here. The sweet potatoes for the new year are ready.
大家好，我是 Molly。
Hello everyone, this is Molly. I'm in my 30s, not married, and don't have a child. I lost my job at the end of 2024, and since then I've been living alone in a rented apartment in Beijing. I am still struggling with whether or not to go back to my hometown during the Chinese New Year. I don't know if anyone is like me. I have become less and less willing to go back to my hometown these years. I used to be a very homesick person. I would go back to my hometown even if I had a 3-day holiday. Now, I don't even do so for the Chinese New Year. Jasmine said that every time she went back to her hometown, when chatting with her relatives for a few minutes, they would ask her, "You are not young anymore. When will you bring a boyfriend back?" A little embarrassing. A blogger posted a video saying that he had invited a few friends to a dinner party at Wanda Plaza at night. It was 7 o'clock and usually there would be a constant flow of people at this time of the day, but there was not a single person in the square. They walked into the mall and found that there were very few people inside.
一楼看不到多少顾客。
There are not many customers on the first floor, except for Huawei and Xiaomi, where customers are choosing mobile phones. Almost no people in other stores. Not like the previous time, no one is playing around in the amusement park on the second floor. Standing on the escalator, one can clearly see that the entire second floor is empty. What about restaurants? A very interesting phenomenon. Except for newly opened and internet-famous restaurants, which are still popular, other restaurants have very few customers. Some restaurants even have only 1 or 2 customers. This shows that everyone's desire to consume is really very low. For ordinary people, neither do they afford it, nor need to do so. Those restaurants with booming business are mostly newly opened or promoted by internet celebrities. Today's consumers are no longer the same as before. They become more rational and cautious.
10年前，
This was the coolest shopping mall in Jilin City 10 years ago, and look at it now. My god, all the shops above the 4th floor are closed, and there are no shops on the 5th and 6th floors at all. There used to be big international brands below, but only a few left. I am so shocked. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please like, subscribe, leave a message, and share it with your friends. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.